I-35M walked in on my wife, 34F, and my brother, 32M, in my bed. Turns out my whole family was in on it, so I burned everything down. You ever look back at a moment in your life and feel like the dumbest man alive? Like the universe was throwing neon signs at your head and you still walked into the fire smiling? That's me, Ezekiel, Zeke to my friends. I'm an auto mechanic, been turning wrenches since I could walk. No college degree, no LinkedIn resume, just calloused hands and an engine for a heart. I've always lived simple. I work hard, love harder, and don't take bullshit from anyone. At least, I thought I didn't. I had what I thought was a decent life. A loving wife, Crystal, high school sweethearts. She used to bring me lunch when I was grinding in the garage. Sweet, soft-spoken, traditional in all the ways that make you think wife material until you realize traditional just means she does whatever her parents or a man tells her, and that man wasn't always me. I had my parents, Ma and Pops. Conservative to a fault. Church every Sunday, bless this house type. Thought they were proud of me, but always made it clear they wanted better for my younger brother, Isaac, the golden boy. Went to college, got a business degree, hasn't worked a day in real grit. But to my parents, he could do no wrong. Crystal and Isaac started hanging out more around the time he temporarily moved in with us after his third failed business. Crystal thought he was charming. I thought he was a freeloader. But hey, family's family, right? At first, it was little things. Crystal laughing too loud at his dumb jokes. Her suddenly dressing up to just stay home. Isaac always being around, but somehow never around when I was. I'd come home to an empty kitchen and hear them whispering upstairs. Told myself I was being paranoid, that they were planning a surprise for my birthday. Guess the surprise was just herpes in a gift box. The day I walked in, it was a Thursday. I came home early from the shop, covered in oil, tired, and craving a shower. The second I opened the door, I knew. The silence was wrong. The air smelled like her perfume. My bed was creaking, that slow, nauseating rhythm that you know isn't sleep. I didn't say anything. I pulled out my phone, walked upstairs, opened the door. There they were. My wife, my brother, in my fucking bed. And they didn't even notice me at first. I got the whole damn thing on video. Ezekiel was the first to see me. He had the nerve to look shocked like I was the homewrecker. Crystal screamed. I just stared. Then I walked out. No yelling, no threats. Just silence. But I texted that video to my parents before I left. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Hell yes. Want to guess what happened next? They sided with him. My mom had the gall to say, well, Crystal always fit better with Isaac anyway. Apparently they had always hoped he'd end up with her. Pops told me not to make a fuss and break the family apart. They pushed this, said I should have known better and given them space to figure out their feelings. What? I confronted Isaac the next day at his new apartment. He tried to play it cool, like this was a natural progression of emotions, said it just happened. I snapped. Decked him. Broke his nose. Would have kept going if the neighbors pulled me off. He threatened to call the cops. I said, go ahead. I've got video proof you were fucking your brother's wife in his house. He shut up. I told my family I was going no contact. I'll update if anything happens. Update 1. Posted 1 month after the original post. Hey again, Ezekiel here. I didn't think I'd come back this soon, but life had other plans. After I posted the original story, I went full ghost mode. Shut off my phone, didn't go to work, didn't talk to anyone. Hell, I didn't even eat right. I just existed. My shop manager, Rick, ended up covering for me. Said I was taking mental health leave. Not wrong. The first few days were the worst. You know that kind of silence where your brain won't shut up but your body won't move? That was me. Sitting on the edge of my bed, the same bed they defiled, holding a half-empty bottle of Jack and re-watching the video I took. I don't know why I kept watching it. Maybe I was punishing myself. Maybe I thought if I studied it close enough, I'd catch the exact moment she stopped being my wife and started being my betrayer. There were flashes, memories, slamming through my head like a sledgehammer. Crystal humming while folding laundry. Me teaching Isaac how to fix his brakes in that same damn driveway. Her holding my hand at church, while Isaac sat across the aisle smiling like the snake he is. I started spiraling hard. I didn't shower for days, didn't shave. I'd stare at myself in the mirror and barely recognize the guy looking back. I kept asking myself the same question on loop. How did I let this happen? I came real close to losing everything. Not just the house or the business. Me. The whole point of me. But then the universe gave me a second wind. In the worst, most poetic way. I logged into Facebook. Yeah, I know. Dumb. But I needed noise. Any noise that wasn't in my head. First thing I saw? A photo of Crystal and Isaac at a wine bar. Dressed up like they're some hotshot power couple. Her caption? After the storm comes the rainbow. Hashtag real love. No more secrets. He understands me. The audacity. The shamelessness. My hands were shaking. Want to hear the real kicker? People were supporting them. Family friends, cousins, even some of my own blood were dropping heart emojis and "so happy for you," like they didn't know they were cheering on betrayal. And then I heard through a mutual friend that Crystal was telling people I lost my mind and fled town, that I was unstable, emotionally abusive, and couldn't handle her moving on. So I made a decision. No more silence. No more sitting in the shadows watching them repaint me as the villain. I logged in, uploaded the video. No sound, no captions, just cold, unfiltered truth. I blurred the worst parts, but left in the audio of her moaning his name. Left in the moment they both looked up and saw me standing there. You could hear the panic in their voices. You could hear Isaac muttering, "Oh, fuck!" You could see Crystal scrambling to cover herself like shame showed up late to the party. I posted it with a simple message. Since apparently I ran off and went crazy, here's the full story. Enjoy your fairy tale. Then I hit send. It went viral in our small town. Comments exploded. People who hadn't spoken to me in years reached out. Some in support, some in horror, some just wanted the tea. And the backlash? Oh, buddy. Crystal's mom tried calling me 14 times. Left a voicemail saying I was ruining her daughter's reputation. Isaac texted me threats, saying I was defaming them and exposing private content. I replied with, "You mean the content I privately witnessed in my house, on my bed, with my wife? That content?" Didn't hear from him again. My own mother left me a long Facebook comment, paragraphs long, talking about forgiveness
and how families make mistakes, and love isn't always clean. I deleted it. Then I posted a reply. Y'all ain't family. You're just people I used to share blood with. The line was drawn. Then came the court moves. I lawyered up hard. Found a divorce attorney named Celeste Wexler. She's got the face of someone's sweet aunt and the courtroom demeanor of a damn honey badger. When I told her everything, she just nodded and said, "We're going scorched earth." We filed for divorce immediately. No mediation, no apologies. Full asset lock. I own the shop, the house, the land, the dog. Yes, even the dog hated her. Crystal tried to stall. Said she needed time to process. Her lawyer called mine to ask if there was room for negotiation. We said no. Then the begging started. First it was Isaac. Bro, you're overreacting. You're going to ruin everyone's life over one mistake? One mistake? Sleeping with my wife for months, plotting behind my back, lying to everyone? That's one mistake? Then my dad chimed in. Told me I was embarrassing the family name. I told him, "You gave my name to a snake. I'm just taking it back." The final straw was a group email sent by my mother. She CC'd the entire extended family and wrote, "Ezekiel, please stop this madness. You're tearing us apart. Think of your nieces. Think of the holidays. Think of your soul." I replied, "Y'all ain't family. You're just people I used to share blood with." I left the email thread and blocked every single one of them. Now, it's just me, the shop, and a whole lot of peace. The divorce hearing is coming up. Celeste is prepping the fire. I'll post when the flames reach the courtroom. Stay tuned.
Update 2. Posted 10 months after the original post. All right, y'all, strap in. This one's going to be long, painful, and so damn satisfying. When I left off, I had just filed for divorce and dropped the truth bomb on social media. Thought that would be the worst of it. Nope. Turns out the human ego doesn't die quietly, especially not when it's fed by generational narcissism, delusion, and wine-soaked Bible verses. The build-up, harassment, gaslighting, and delusional family theater. Once the divorce papers hit Crystal's hands, the real circus began. First came the phone calls, dozens a day from unknown numbers. My voicemail filled up in less than 24 hours. Most were sobbing voicemails from Crystal. "Zeke, please, just talk to me. This isn't you. You're angry, but we can fix it. You and I were always meant to..." Click. Then came Isaac's texts. Not even apologetic. Dude actually tried to negotiate. "Bro, I'll back off if you drop the divorce. It was just sex. Emotions are complicated." I sent back a picture of a dog turd with a post-it note that said, "Negotiation rejected." My parents got more aggressive. Pop sent a letter, a physical letter, handwritten like it was the Civil War, talking about biblical forgiveness and how I needed to set an example. My ma started guilt-tripping mutual friends into pressuring me. My aunt called crying, saying I was destroying the family. I told her the family nuked itself and tried to bury me in the fallout. My lawyer, Celeste Wexler, queen of hellfire and legal doom, told me, "This is them scrambling. They're scared. That's good." She wasn't wrong. Crystal filed a response to the divorce petition full of half-baked lies. Claimed I was emotionally abusive, manipulative, and neglected her emotional needs. Claimed I was violent and controlled her finances. Girl, you were a stay-at-home housewife with full access to my accounts. The only thing I controlled was the thermostat, and that's because she kept turning it to 80 like we were living inside Satan's colon.
She even claimed I'd intimidated Isaac physically, conveniently leaving out the part where I caught them fucking and he was still naked when I broke his nose. Celeste laughed so hard reading the complaint, she had to take off her glasses and wipe her eyes. We responded with a 3-inch binder of evidence. Texts between Crystal and Isaac going back over a year. GPS records showing Isaac's car parked outside my house every time I worked late. Credit card receipts of her buying gifts that I never received. Testimonies from coworkers and friends who noticed she was slipping away. Screenshots of her talking to other people about being tired of being a mechanic's wife. And of course, the video. The judge reviewed everything in pretrial and basically said, oh damn. Divorce court isn't fast. It's like a slow-motion car crash, one that takes months, hearings, and enough paperwork to kill a rainforest. But the final court date? That was the funeral. Crystal showed up with a new lawyer, a fresh-faced, soft-spoken dude named Jeremy, who looked like he still drank chocolate milk with dinner. Isaac was there too, dressed like a politician, which was bold considering he once lost $30,000 in crypto. Crystal started with Waterworks, crying about how I emotionally neglected her, said I stopped loving her years ago. Judge listened politely, then Celeste stood up and said, Your Honor, with all due respect, we have Exhibit F1 through F37, timestamps, video, texts, and financial statements showing the defendant engaged in a 10-month-long affair while living off the plaintiff's income and property. Jeremy tried to object. The judge told him to sit down unless he had counter-evidence, not feelings. Y'all, I swear I saw steam come out of Isaac's ears. When the gavel finally dropped, it was glorious. I got the house. I got full ownership of my shop. I got to keep all savings, vehicles, retirement, tools, dog, and even the damn wedding ring. Crystal got nothing. No alimony, no marital assets. The judge even awarded me reparative damages for emotional distress due to deliberate infidelity and social smear campaign. That's rare in no-fault states, but Celeste made such an airtight case, the judge practically handed us the legal equivalent of a flamethrower and said, "Go nuts." Crystal broke down in court, screamed at me, cried about how I ruined her life, said Isaac was pressuring her the whole time. Isaac turned red, tried to deny it, and they started arguing in front of the judge. The court deputy had to step in. I just sat there, calm, quiet, watching my past collapse in real time. My family? They didn't even show up. Guess they couldn't bear to see their chosen son humiliated. But I got text later. From my mom. You didn't have to destroy her. She made a mistake. From my dad. We raised you better than this. From Isaac, after the ruling. Hope it was worth it. You'll die alone. I didn't reply to any of them. I posted a final message on Facebook. When you protect snakes, don't cry when they bite you. I'm free now. Stay out of my life. And just like that, the nightmare was over.
Final update. Peace, parenthood, and one last goodbye. Posted 3 years after the original post. Hey Reddit, it's been a minute. 3 years ago, I was a grease-stained mechanic watching my life implode in slow motion. Now, I'm writing this final update with a cup of coffee in one hand and a baby monitor buzzing gently on my desk. Let me rewind and catch you up, because this chapter isn't about rage or revenge. It's about peace and how I finally found it. After the divorce, my life was quiet. Uncomfortably quiet at first, like the silence after an explosion when your ears are still ringing. No drama, no surprise visits, no backhanded guilt trips, just space. The shop got busier. Word got around town about what happened, and surprisingly, it helped business. People said things like, "You're that guy who exposed his cheating wife, right? Damn, you got time to look at my F-150?
I rebuilt my house one room at a time, ripped out the old bed, repainted the walls, replaced every trace of Crystal with tools, books, and whatever the hell I wanted. My dog, Rusty, started sleeping peacefully again. So did I. I stayed single for a while, focused on the shop, focused on myself. At the gym again, started reading more, took a road trip down south with my cousin. First time I'd left town in years without dread in my chest. And then I met her. Layla. Met her by accident. She came into the shop with a busted alternator and an attitude like a storm cloud. Independent, sarcastic, drop-dead gorgeous in an I fix my own stuff, but I'm letting you do it kind of way. She didn't know who I was. Didn't care either. Treated me like a guy fixing her car, not some town legend with trauma baggage. We talked, argued about 70s Mustangs versus 90s Toyotas, had coffee, talked more, argued again, laughed, and then suddenly she was just part of my life. Layla is everything Crystal never was. She's not afraid to speak her mind, but she listens too. She respects the way I think, doesn't see me as just a mechanic, but she also never puts me on a pedestal. I'm just me. That's more than enough for her. And the wildest part? We're expecting. Yep. There's a baby on the way, due in a few months. Found out last spring and cried in my truck for 20 minutes. Happy tears this time. Not fear, not regret, just awe. I look at her belly every morning and think, this is the legacy I get to build. This is mine. Not stolen, not poisoned, not shared. My side of the family? Yeah, that bridge is not only burned, it's buried under ash and legal filings. Isaac tried to start another business, failed within 6 months. I heard he moved back in with my parents, then out again when he and Pops got into a screaming match about being a disappointment. Crystal bounced from guy to guy. Tried working at a boutique. Got fired for yelling at a customer. She's back at her parents' house too. Her social media turned from inspirational quotes to vague sob stories. You know the kind. Some people never realize what they had until it's gone. Hashtag regret. Hashtag he was the right one. I've been tagged in a few. I ignore them all. My parents still email every now and then. I don't read them anymore. I let the subject lines pile up like unpaid bills. Isaac needs help. You're being unfair. We miss you. Congratulations, I guess. I've made peace with this. They were never really my family. Not in the ways that mattered. Blood means jack when loyalty's a coin toss. 2 weeks ago, I was at the grocery store picking up prenatal vitamins and frozen waffles. Pregnancy cravings are no joke. I turned the corner by the dairy aisle, and there she was, Crystal. She looked tired, worn, not ugly, just drained, like someone who's been pretending to be okay for too long. She froze. I kept walking, tried to play it cool, but she stepped in front of my cart. Ezekiel, I sighed. Crystal. She stared at my hand, saw the new ring. Her lip trembled. I heard you're having a baby. Yeah, we are. She nodded. Tears welled up. She's not me. No, she isn't. Then she started crying. Like ugly crying. People were looking. She reached out, touched my arm. I'm so sorry, Izzy. I was stupid. I didn't know what I had. I was confused. I thought... I pulled my arm back gently. I've forgiven you a long time ago, Crystal, but I don't feel anything anymore. Not hate, not love, nothing. She sank to the floor, sobbing. I think she expected me to comfort her, to fold like I used to. Instead, I called store security. Told them someone was having a breakdown near the eggs. I left her there, walked out into the sun, sat in my truck and looked at the ultrasound pic clipped to my dash. My future, my real family. And I smiled. For the first time in years, I knew the war was truly over. Thanks for reading this saga. Whether you stuck with me from the start or just jumped in now, I appreciate you. To anyone who's been betrayed, abandoned, or made to feel like you were the problem, you're not. You never were. Walk away. Light the match if you have to. Sometimes ashes are just the soil for a better life. Stay strong, Reddit. I'm out.